Good day, everybody. I decided to do another installment of the Phase II Ludwig Phase II synthesizer. Since this has been cloned, I figured it'd be nice for the do-it-yourselfer to be able to hear what the original sounds like in all the different modes, and that way you'll have a baseline for setting it up, because these suckers have a lot of trimmers. You can tune them a lot of different ways, and I have two of these units, and this is basically how they sounded when I got them, and this is my own personal opinion, I feel they sound the best. May not be kosher for anybody else, but this is the way I got my units. Both of my units have been completely recapped, and I retuned them to sound the way I got them. And I think this is more or less pretty close to what the unit sounded like when it came out of the factory. I'm going to go through all the different settings and just play a few chords to give you an idea of what it sounds like. Straight guitar signal. We're in bypass. Turn it on. We'll go in parallel mode. Fuzz mix and voice fuzz all the way up. I'll just leave the animation on max. No animation for the time being. Just manipulating the pedal and getting different sounds. That's parallel mode. Counter mode. Vowel mode. Okay, now we'll go back to parallel mode with the fuzz on. Counter mode. Vowel mode. Okay, we'll go back to parallel mode now. We'll turn the animation on. I got the animation on 4, almost halfway, fast start, and I have the select switch on both. The select switch at the moment really doesn't matter unless I put it to fuzz repeat. Then I won't get the animation. So you can either put it on the FFM, which is for the voice, or both, and you'll get the animation. Counter mode. Vowel mode. One thing I noticed is vowel mode, the yo yo yo, is right at the top, toe down. Whereas in counter mode, it's more in the middle of the travel of the pedal, and it's a little deeper in tone. Okay, now we'll take the fuzz off. We'll run through them again with no fuzz, animation on. Parallel mode. Counter mode. Vowel mode. Okay, now we'll have the animation and the fuzz on. We're going to go into the fuzz repeat section, or it's also marked on the schematic as percussion repeat. We'll turn that up to the max, the fuzz repeat intensity. We'll keep this selector on both to get the voice and the fuzz. And this is where I want to point out that the fuzz mix slider, in my opinion, to my observations, acts more as a crossfader than a gain or a volume. If you, with the selector on both, fuzz and animation on, voice and fuzz repeat on max, you'll notice you get fuzz, but the repeats are a lot more predominant at one end of the scale. And as you go to the other end of the scale, the fuzz repeats are less dominant and the voice comes through more. With around the middle of the scale being a mix of both. In fuzz mode, we'll go to the one end of the scale now. It sounds like a mix of the voice and the fuzz. Whereas at the other end of the scale, the voice is really predominant. With the middle, somewhere around the middle being a mix of the two. But the low end of the scale being really more the fuzz repeats than anything else. So it acts either in either fuzz or voice fuzz mode. It acts, in my opinion, as more of a crossfader. In fuzz voice or voice fuzz mode, you really either go from either fuzz repeats or voice repeats. I mean, that's really, really choppy. And you always get that repetitive percussive sound in the background, which, if you turn it down a bit, goes away. But you lose the volume of the fuzz repeats, though, at one end of the scale. So there you go. That's if we go straight fuzz repeat on the selector, you're not getting any voice at all now from the voice intensity. You're either going to get fuzz or percussive fuzz, or a mix of fuzz and percussive, or just fuzz. The voice is in straight fuzz repeat. The voice is cancelled out completely. Which could make for some neat effects on its own. And in the meantime, in any of these, either voice both or fuzz repeat, the pedal is active, and you can play with the voicing. In any of the trajectories, either a parallel, counter, or vowel. So that is it in a nutshell. Gives you a baseline of what they should sound like. I wanted to do this video because when Jimmy and I were putting the color sound vocalizer together, we had zero zip nada information except for a schematic that we found, but we didn't have any baseline sounds to go by to, you know, what is this pedal going to sound like or what it should sound like until we actually put it together. So now that this baby's been cloned, we wanted to give or I wanted to give the do-it-yourself, or at least a baseline idea of what the unit should more or less sound like. I've got two of these units. I've tweaked them to no end, and they just don't quite sound the same. Just very, very minor sound differences between the two. That's just the nature of the beast, I guess. They have their own little characteristics. They sound really, really close, but if you really listen to them, they're slightly different. So they have their own personality, and but at least you get an idea of what it should sound like. There you go. If you got any questions, don't be afraid to look me up on Do-It-Yourself Stomp Boxes forum. Be happy to help you out. Take care.